Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Coach to Coach show. And today I am so excited to welcome our star partner, Cheryl Pullins. She is a personal branding strategist. And guys, today she is going to be talking about the icon factor, how to make your personal brand more profitable, right? So let me go and give you guys a little bit of detail about Cheryl, and then we're going to jump right into the content. As you guys are coming in, though, don't forget to put your name in the comment section so that we can give you a shout out. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and put them in the comments. Cheryl and I will definitely address all questions that you guys have at the end of the show. All right, so let's get into it. And let's talk about a little bit about Cheryl. Cheryl as a red lipstick loving, stiletto wearing, go-to branded expert and founder of the iconic Persona agency. Cheryl's mission is to help passionate professional women to authentically position themselves to win in business and life. Aside for her fascination, I'm sorry, guys, with fashion, film, and Italian food, Cheryl uses her proven signature branding system to help seven-figure women business owners, coaches, consultants, ministry leaders, direct sales professionals build memorable, marketable, and profitable personal brands by leveraging their personality, passion, and purpose. Cheryl is an award-winning international speaker who has spoken on the TEDx stage, guys, right? So she's gonna be awesome. And she's the author of Whatever Diva Must Know About Starting Her Own Business. What a great title. And is releasing her new book, Iconic Personal Branding for the Multi-Passionate Woman. She has served as a mentor with the London-based Cherry Blair Foundation for Women in Business program, which generally expands her globally expanded her footprint. So let's introduce our day's trainer, Cheryl Pullins, the icon personal branding.
Hello.
Hey, let me turn all this down.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alease, for having me here to share with you today about the icon factor.
Yes, I can't wait. I love that name. I bet. Do you play the music in the background? What's that Will Smith son? Iconic. I'm an iconic. You know, he has a rap song.
Oh, wait, I better find it because I'm not sure.
Yeah, he has a song called "I'm an Icon Made," I think. Yeah,
Oh,
Will Smith's son.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll do a little searching around for that. Yeah.
So let me pull up the comments to make sure. Hey, Cheryl, we have another Cheryl. So, Cheryl, if you don't mind, go ahead and share this inside of the Superstar Marketers group. I really appreciate that. Drina says, "Good morning, ladies." It's morning time over there on her side of I think she's in Arizona. So it's morning over there.
Awesome. Yeah. I just came from the West Coast a
Yeah.
little while ago. Yeah, I was in Palm Springs, California. So yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Let me turn it down. The comments to make sure. Cheryl, we have another Cheryl. Oh, I got a new phone, and it's just I'm still trying to work it the right way.
No problem.
All right. So we have Reese on as well. Good morning, or good afternoon to all of you guys. Thank you for joining us. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump right into the content, right? We're not going to waste anyone's time. And again, guys, as you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. Cheryl who's on with us in the comment section. We're definitely going to try to address all of your questions. If we miss any of your questions during the time, make sure to write it again so I can catch it. Because a lot of times you guys comments are coming so fast, I can't catch it, each and every one of them. All right. Kim is on with us as well, and she's just stopping in. So we're going to go ahead and get started and share. And y'all, Cheryl has some beautiful slides. Like, I'm so jealous. Like, they're beautiful. Okay. So you have the floor.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, it's so awesome to be here. Totally awesome. And I'm looking forward to just going through and sharing just a little bit about me, and all that good stuff. So before, because I'll start talking and I'll forget about the slides. So I'm gonna make sure I stick with the slides. So what's it all about? This is what's happening. We're going to talk about how did I get where I am today. Just a little bit. I'm not going to go on and on and on. You know, about me. You can find out about me on my website at Iconic Persona. You can find out me all over social media. You can do that due diligence. But I am going to share just a little bit of my story about how I got here. I'll talk about becoming iconic and my 4 pillars for my overarching personal brand strategy framework. Then I'm going to I'm going to dig down a little bit, share with you about the icon factor system. And then how we're going to talk about, how to, like, how are you going to move forward from here? Then I'll have some, I like to say, some A's for your Q's. So we'll have a Q&A if you are still around for that. So a little bit about me. I spent 22 years in corporate America, and my husband and I, I was an HR professional. My husband and I moved to Florida during the recession. I could not find a job that I was willing to, let's say, leave my house for every day. Because the pay scale was very different. We had come out of the DMV area, which is known as Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. We had come out of, not Delaware, District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. And so the pay scale was very different there. And I said, well, I have this idea of starting a business. Not really sure what that looks like. Not even sure what kind of business it is. So I started off as a life coach. That's how I started. And I said, if I can generate, a decent income, close to what they're willing to pay me out on the market, then I'm going to do it. And that was 9 years ago when I took that plunge. And I don't do life coaching anymore, but I'm still a coach through and through. I just focus on helping multi-passionate professional women strategize their personal brand. And also I do a ton of speaking. I've spoken a lot of places. You see this. I like to have this little slide right here because it inspires people. It's not really about me and where I've spoken, but it's about me inspiring people and saying, you know what, if you have a message, you have a story, you have something that you want to share, there are people, there are companies, there are corporations that want what you have, and this is the proof. So if speaking is something that you want to add into your repertoire as you expand your personal brand, it is absolutely one of the best ways to get your personal brand in front of people so they can experience you. So I highly, highly recommend that. And I leverage it a lot. So right now, my business is, I didn't put a slide in here about my business because I just switched over to starting Iconic Persona, which is my personal branding agency. It's a boutique style personal branding agency. And I started it, I run it, but I bring in some of my partners who are experts in areas where I am not an expert in. Together, we create a team to help you master, monetize, and maximize your personal brand. So let's jump in. Let's talk about all the stuff that we're going to talk about in our time together. And please be sure, if you have any questions about anything, there will be a Q&A later. But if you have to leave, you just pop it in, make sure you put it in the comments. And I will definitely make sure that I provide an answer for you. So let's talk a little bit about personal branding mistakes. First of all, I want to say that a lot of times I encounter entrepreneurs, women in particular, they have multiple passions. They're a coach, they're a speaker. They might still be working a full-time job. They have several different things that are going on, and a lot of them don't even know about personal branding. because we hear so much about branding, 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 and we typically think about logos and taglines and websites and business cards and marketing collateral. But this right here, what we're going to talk about is you, because branding is personal.
Yes.
It's about connection. It's about relevance. It's about who you are and how you're showing up in the world. And I know a lot of times people are talking about standing out, but really my point of view there is about more than standing out. Standing out is, that was before the social media boom. you
Uh-huh.
know, Standing out is, yeah, that's fine, but you have to do more than stand out. And we're going to talk about how that works. So let's talk about some of the personal branding mistakes that you might be making, or you might know someone that you like, oh yeah. So the third one, we're going to go in reverse, and then I'll share my top one with you. Not leveraging who you are and what you know. You, first of all, you are so amazing. You are incredible. You have experiences, you have expertise, you have education, you have pieces of you that are so powerful that if you allow people to experience them and to see them at work, not will it just transform them, it'll also transform and revolutionize you and your business and how you're showing up in the world. We hear a lot about being authentic and transparent, and they've become buzzwords. But if you are really truly authentic to who you are, to what you believe, to what you value, and how you show up in the world, it will work in your favor. My examples, I use Cardi B as an example all the time. She is loud. She is, and I'm doing air quotes here, she is ratchet. She is, all the things that a lot of people like shun away from. However, it has catapulted her, because not only does she have that authenticity there, but she also has, a talent, a skill, something that she leverages and she uses. And what she knows, obviously, is how to rap or spit bars or whatever it is that people say now. Obviously, she knows how to do that. So, are you leveraging who you are, true and authentic? Not something you made up, not something fake, not hiding behind a mask, but are you really truly showing up as you? Now, I know it's challenging. I know it requires you to be vulnerable, and most of us don't want to be vulnerable because we don't want to be judged.
Right.
So we create um, these things that we can hide behind, or things that we can create or show up as to appease other people. But you lose in the long run. So not leveraging who you are and what you know, your experiences, your expertise, all the journey that you've been on thus far, you can leverage that into something really amazing. My example, Oprah Winfrey, she leveraged her story.
Big time.
She, yes, big time. She leveraged her story. Little girl growing up in Podunk, Mississippi, because I don't remember the name of the little town in Mississippi. She encountered challenges, raised by a grandmother, then sent to her father, then she got pregnant, then she had a baby and he was stillborn, and then she goes to college, then all of this, but it's all of these, they're her stories, and these are her defining moments. Who you are, what you know, and how you can leverage that. The second mistake that we have with our personal brand is we have muddled messaging. We have no idea how powerful a single message can be. A core message that you can use and you can pivot on, and you can use to expand and show up anywhere in the world and talk about, or that people know you for. So the question here for you is, what are you known for? And are you known for something that is so specific and succinct that people can say it in one word or two max? Now, people get scared by this because they're like, oh my God, no, because I do this, I want to do that. And I work with a lot women that have multiple passions, or they're multifaceted, so they're doing multiple things, but that doesn't have to change the core of your message. So that's something you want to get really clear about. What is your message? What's that pivotal message that you can stand on and speak to and share, and people know, they know it.
Right.
So for me, I talk about, people know that I'm known for branding, and lately I've been focusing in on personal branding, because I wanted, again, getting clear on my message that it is personal branding. We're not talking logos and taglines here, not yet,
Right. Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So get clear on your messaging. Number one mistake, no personal brand strategy. Nope, we just out here winging it, flying by the seat of our pants, throwing spaghetti on the wall, see what works, all the things that we do to try to grow our businesses, expand our message, and our brand into the world. But we don't have a surefire way, step by step, to say, you know what, I'm going to build this foundation, because you got to think. You got to think. When you're building, so I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm a city girl, and I used to walk downtown. And walking downtown, you would see them building these skyscraper buildings, but it would be months before you ever saw any kind of construction really happening. So they would put up these. They were wooden fences at the time. They weren't the chain link fences, and then they would put these holes at different heights on the wooden fence. So you could, depending on how tall or short you were, you could look through and see what was happening. And I looked through and see what was happening is, for months, they would be in there digging up that foundation, going down into the bedrock that would be necessary for them to build this 20, 30, 40-story building. Because the higher you go, the deeper you have to go, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to go down, 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 in deep into your foundation of who you are, what you value, what you aspire, and what you believe, before you can grow and expand and scale and do what you want to do. And that takes a strategy. So, those are the three mistakes and personal branding mistakes that a lot of people are making. Not leveraging who they are and what they know, having very muddled messaging, and no personal brand strategy. So, how is this impacting you? What is it costing you to continuously, month after month, year after year, keep making these mistakes, not addressing these things? So let's talk about it. Okay. First of all, that's kind of how, you're like, oh my God, you're holding it. Like, oh God, this is just too much. Because it's costing you and it's impacting you. You're frustrated. You might even be resentful. You're comparing yourself to other people. You're getting dismal results in your business. You're disappointed. You're experiencing some disappointment. You're not reaching your goals, not easily. You're attracting the wrong clients. Oh, this is that wrong client thing is a big one.
Yeah.
Your message is being lost because the market is so saturated, especially if you're a coach. Very saturated market. You're charging below your value, another biggie. Charging well below your value. You don't even know what value you're bringing to the table because you haven't assessed it. Because you spent a lot of time comparing instead of assessing your own.
Mm.
And then financial freedom. It's costing you financial freedom. It's costing you the ability to really charge based on your value in a way that honors you, in a way that is in integrity about who you are and what you bring to the world. So this is how it's impacting you. This is what it's costing you, to not leverage who you are and what you know, to have muddled messaging, and to have no personal brand strategy. So now what? I've given you the like, ugh, the yuck of it all. But with every problem presented, there's always be a solution. So how do you get started with going from frustration, resentment, comparison, those dismal results, disappointment, not reaching your goals, that wrong, attracting the wrong clients, your lost message, charging below your value? How do you get started with going from all of these different not so fun places to being invited to stellar opportunities, attracting the right clients, living the life you desire, feeling value for the work you do and what you put out into the world, and to being financially free? How do you do it? Just by being who you are, using what you know, and having the right strategy. And that strategy that I'm going to talk about today is something I created called the icon factor system. The icon factor system. So I just want to tell you a little bit about how I got on this iconic kick. When I was younger, I think I was about, I probably was about 6. And I had my first movie experience. My aunt took me to see A Christmas Carol. And I was fascinated by the big screen. The screen was like huge. And back then, theaters were very ornate, so it was this grand theater, and this big screen, and these booming voices coming out of the screen. And I was hooked on big screen cinema ever since. I have a love for movies, and I have a fascination with the icons of yesteryear from the big screen, anywhere from Audrey Hepburn to Lena Horne to Dorothy Dandridge to Liz Taylor. You go down the list. I'm a huge fan of TCM, which is Turner Classic Movies. And so I'm just fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by old Hollywood and old Hollywood glam. I just love it. I just love it. And so I spend a lot of time saying, icons. How did these people, how did they become icons? What did they do? How did they set themselves apart? Because you heard me say it's more than just standing out. And I believe that being iconic is about setting yourself apart in the minds of your market. That's different from just standing out. Setting yourself apart because you have something so sacred, so special, so endearing, so memorable, so captivating that it's never forgotten. And when you think about icons, icons are people that transcend generations. They're never forgotten. To this day, we're still talking about Liz Taylor. We're still talking about Audrey Hepburn. We're still watching Breakfast at Tiffany's. We're still looking at movies that were, done in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. They have a whole network channel that's geared towards it, that has one of the most amazing communities and followings I've probably ever seen. So being iconic or being an icon, it is a journey in itself, but it starts with understanding who you are. And that's what the icon factor system talks about. So we start with identity. Identity. Who are you? My first rule of personal branding is know thyself. Know thyself. Know what your values, your beliefs, your dreams, your desires, your aspirations. Know what those things are. Do some discovery, some self-discovery. Do some excavation, if you will. Find out what triggers you. Find out, which toe, if somebody steps on it, you're going to scream. Find out, if somebody pokes you the wrong way, what your reaction is going to be. Find out as much as you can about you. Because remember, as a brand, you're showing up in the world. Brands now are very personal. They're nobody's hiding behind logos anymore. Even Apple, Even though Steve Jobs was the face of the brand, eventually, they still use people as the face of the brand to humanize it. Tim Cook, not as much as Steve Jobs, but still, there's a face to the brand. So you are the face of your brand. You know, People want to connect with you. They don't really care. Nobody's ever gone into their wallet and pulled out their credit card because of the color of your logo.
Right.
Right. Never. We don't go to Starbucks and buy the coffee because of the green lady logo on the cup. We go because it's connection. It's an experience to walk up to the counter and ask for a tall white chocolate mocha, extra hot with no whip. I mean,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. We don't follow Oprah because of her big O, logo. We follow her because she's inspiring. And all of those things, and she understands, and humanity and all that kind of stuff. So who are you when people encounter you? When people come into your space, what kind of experience are they going to have? Because remember, your brand is a promise, and that promise is what? Is it going to be a consistent experience every time they come into your space? Or are they going to walk away going, I don't ever want to have that experience again?
Mm.
So, identity, your values, your beliefs, your desires, your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, what makes you tick? What's your wow factor? What is it that you have that when people walk away, they're like, wow, that was amazing? Those are the things that you really want to know as you build and grow your personal brand to make it more profitable. Credibility, credibility. What does it take to establish credibility? Well, one of the biggest things that it takes to establish credibility is integrity and consistency. You got to be consistent. Inconsistency will kill your credibility every time. Um, I'm not saying this is not theory. I'm telling you what I know. Inconsistency will kill your credibility, and you will have to start all over building that credibility. So what do you mean? What do I mean when I say be consistent? Well, be consistent in how you show up. Be consistent in, if you say you're going to, honor your word. If you say you're going to do something or be somewhere, as it relates to offering value to your market, show up and be there. Credibility, be relevant, be relatable, be reliable, be consistent, show up in a consistent way because your market watches. They may not never even say anything. You have no idea who's watching you. It happens to me all the time. People tell me, oh, I've been watching you for the last 2 years, or I've been watching you for the last 6 months, and they wind up being a client. They're like, yeah, I watched you for a couple years and I wanted to see if you were going to be consistent. Really consistent in your messaging. Look, you can't build credibility, by talking about you are for the empowerment of people and the empowerment of women, and you want to see women win, but then the next post you're tearing people down.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's inconsistent, and that kills your credibility because now people think you playing. And people don't forget stuff like they're like, wait a minute, but I thought you said, you know what I mean? They will call you on the carpet with a quickness.
And they will all, even on the bad stuff, on the good stuff, they will quote you, and you be
Yes.
like,
They will. They will. There's a woman that this lady, I promise you, she's been following me for the last 8 years. And every now and then we get a chance to talk. And she said, yeah, because I remember when you said do, 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 do. And it was probably like 6 years ago when I said it. And I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, I said that. She was like, yes, you did. I was like, so you are absolutely right about that. They will crucify you if you step outside that credibility, or they will quote you, with the good stuff because of what you said in the past and it resonated with them, it stuck with them. So credibility is key. It's important. You can't overlook it. You can't sidestep it, especially when you're building your personal brand. Own your lane. Now, I've been talking a little bit about there are certain words, buzzwords in the market that don't resonate with me, and there are a couple. But one of the ones that really doesn't resonate is, when people are saying, dominate the market, dominate. You got to dominate. You got to dominate. And I had to figure out, I'm like, why doesn't that feel, good to me? I know it's a very masculine type of energy, if you will, domination, taking over, we're going to kill everybody. We're going to slay. We're going to do all these different things. But if you own your lane, if you show up being of service, offering value, um, serving people in your lane, own that, because you can share the rest of the road. You don't have to dominate all 6 lanes on the highway. You can't. You can't. Yeah, I mean, if you're driving on the highway and you see somebody and they're zigzagging in and out, because they're trying to be in this lane and over here, because they're trying to get through, usually we look at them like, what are they doing? Why? And we're trying to get out of their way, But you don't have to do that. You don't have to try to dominate all the lanes. If you own your lane and you stand firm in who you are and what you believe and how you show up in the world, and you're being of service and you're offering value, everything else will come. Everything else will come. You're not worrying about how many likes you get and how many people showing up, how many people, following you, how many, I'm trying to get to 10,000 people. I'm trying to get to 6 figures, 7 figures. I'm trying to get to double digit, 3 commas. We are chasing after things instead of owning our lane, focusing on being of service, offering value, and showing up with consistency. I can't say it no plainer than that. Now, do not get me wrong. Yes, you want to have goals. You want to have aspirations. We talked about that, having goals and aspirations and desires, having a plan and a strategy for meeting your goals and getting where you want to go. But there's a way to get there. Just like any journey, there's a way to get there. And you can get there if you just hold fast and own your lane. Craft your narrative. So narrative is really about your story. What's your personal brand story? What's your brand story? Where you come from? How'd you get to where you are? What story can you tell that will inspire people, that will excite people, that will move people to take action in the direction of their own dreams? What's your story? Remember I talked a little bit about Oprah. She basically built her empire by telling her story. What's your story? Of course, we know she did more than that, but it was a catalyst for her. What's your story? Storytelling is one of the most powerful strategies that you can use because it creates connection. It creates engagement. People are inspired by story. Storytelling is how we transfer information from one generation to the next. I have this whole class on storytelling, and I absolutely love it because I'm a natural storyteller. My mom is one of the most amazing storytellers. and teaching people how to tell their story, but tell it from a place of confidence and power and understanding, how to tell the story. So, what's your story? What's your narrative? That's something that you want to look at. So, one of the things, and you can make sure you write this down. One of the things that I tell people how to start is list out 5 to 7 defining moments in your life, because that's how you can narrow it down. Because of course you can't tell everything, so you narrow it down 5 to 7. You could go up to 10 defining moments in your life, pivotal moments, moments where you met a fork in the road and you had to make a decision about which direction you were going to go. Moments when you were at your lowest point and you didn't know how you were going to get out of that situation, but uh, something changed, something happened. Moments, some of your highest moments, that you never thought you would reach or attain, that you've gone beyond what you dreamt about or desire. I mean, all of those moments, maybe accomplishments or things that you still carry to this day because you remember, things that impacted you when you were younger, which could be some of the reason why you function the way you function. That's back to identity. You see how all of this really connects? Because the icon factor, and if you notice, if you go through identity, credibility, own your lane, craft your narrative, is the icon. How it's these are the steps for becoming iconic. So that's, I didn't want to like dump a whole lot on you. I wanted to really get you thinking about your icon factor. What is your icon factor? Digging in a little bit into your identity and looking at your credibility and owning the lane that you're in, figuring out what lane you're in, first of all. What's your lane in the road? I chose a lane in the road. Now, let me say this. Multi-passionate or multifaceted people have trouble with finding a lane in the road because they feel as if they have to deny other parts of who they are and what they love. But you don't have to do that. What you do want to do is find your lane in the road, and that's how you show up. I show up as a personal brand strategist. That's my lane in the road. But I do a whole bunch of other things. I can offer a whole bunch of other things. So when people come through that door of personal brand strategist, the door of my house, they get in the house and they realize, oh, the house has 5 rooms. Oh, I can do coach certification over here. Oh, I can do this over here. Oh, I can do this program. They find out they can do all these things, but I don't show up saying, hey, hey, you want to do my certification course? You want to take my personal branding class? Hey, you want to invite me as a speaker? You want to read one of my books? That's not how I'm showing up. Because if you show up offering all of those options, people get confused.
A confused person does not buy.
They don't buy. They don't take action. They don't even know what to do next. So they do nothing. So to mitigate the confusion and to help the people in your market out, you have to step by step tell them what to do and where to go. And you do that by being clear, compelling, very succinct.
Awesome. Well, guys, Cheryl has threw up a slide saying it's time for questions. If you guys can go ahead and put whatever questions you might have in the comment section, I'm going to ask my question, and I hope you guys by that time, because I know there's a slight delay, that you guys will have questions as well about developing your personal brand, how to be more consistent, how to show up and be more credible, how to pick your own lane, right? When you are multifaceted person, entrepreneur, how do you make that decision? How do you choose the right one? That's my question, honestly.
Okay.
You are a multi-passionate person. I'm not, right? I got my thing, right? My thing when I first started was branding, just like you. And I was more personal branding. I wasn't about the logos and all this kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
But
Hmm.
eventually, as time started to move, I realized where my really focus was and what my more passion was and where my most experience was in online marketing. And so I stay in that lane. Although I need to change my title. Although I say I'm your online marketing and branding coach, right? I just need to choose one thing and say online marketing coach.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
because here's the deal. The titles that you use really don't define who you are and all that you bring anyway, first of all.
Good point.
Because for me, as even though I do personal brand strategy, I promise you I do life coaching. I promise you I do. I do life coaching. I don't deny that part of me, because we sometimes, in when we're trying to work a personal brand strategy, we encounter something, and I can easily shift to being a life coach.
Hmm.
Or in some cases I can easily shift to helping them with social media and marketing. So the titles that we use, I think sometimes we allow them to define who we are in totality
Good point.
and how we show up in the market. And that is not true.
Good point. That's good. Thank you for that. See, you just life coached me. So when you have someone who is, I have a lot of clients who do have a lot of things going on. Like they have a lot. And I'm being a life coach is not my strong point. I'm really straight to the point. I'm like, just pick one girl so we can go on, right?
Right.
So how do you, when you are a multi-passionate person, how do you choose that one lane to focus on?
So one of the things that I do with my clients is we create their entire their brand, their their umbrella brand. We I have them go to the high level and say, okay, you're the brand. Now, what are all the different things that you want to do? What are all the different things you want to put out in the world? All the different, whatever, speaker, author, you want to have a line of candles, a line of tea, you want to, have pillows, you want to have home decor, you want to, have a clothing boutique. I mean, I know people they want to do all that. So I have them dump all of that, and we put it on paper in a way that makes sense. Now, what I ask them, this is the question I ask: what's the first thing you want to go to market with?
Ah, how that works, right? When you ask them, which
They
one you
tell
want to
you.
go to market first? Yeah.
They tell you, because now, of course, as coaching, as coaching, they have the answer to that. They know, because that's typically going to be the thing that they're either most passionate about, or that's going to make them the quickest money.
That's good. That's really good.
So so then I take that and say, well, let's devise a plan to go to market with this, and letting them know we're not denying the rest of it. Yeah, you can put all the rest of that somewhere on your website, somewhere when they come to the world of Alease, Alease.com, and they come to your website, they're coming to a place where everything that maybe not everything, but a few things that you have where it lives. And then you tell them where you want them to go. And typically you're guiding them maybe to one or two things,
Mhm.
but you still have this overall messaging as well that's cohesive enough that people aren't confused, because that's the piece that is most challenging for people that are multi-passionate, is their messaging is confusing. People don't know what they do because they're doing a bunch of stuff,
Right.
or they're marketing that they're doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And then they get confused and overwhelmed, and then they have to reach out to one of us to say, "Can you help me?"
And and,
Yeah.
and the number one thing that I get when people come to me to help them is that they have all these different things they're doing, and their messaging is all over the place. That
Mhm.
is the number one thing that people come to me for.
Good. Our owner has a question, and our owner says, "But I don't know what I am most passionate about and who I should be working with."
Well, then that requires some work. That requires that identity piece. because you can't get to who you want to work with if you don't know what solution you're going to bring to the market.
I agree. Do you think sometimes a lot of it is fear that makes
Oh,
people
yeah.
not want to choose? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the truth of the matter is, we usually know what we want to do. We usually know what makes our heart sing and what we're really passionate about. But a lot of times we're afraid of what other people are going to say or think or believe. Are they going to think I'm off my rocker? Or are they going to be like, girl, who do you know? How you going to make money doing that? Or you ain't gonna make no money doing that, or who do you know doing that? I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, when she first went to college, and before she went to college, she kept talking about she was going to be a lawyer, she was going to go to law school. That was all. So we were prepared. Okay, she's gonna go to law school. So she, that's what we're ready for. And then she was like, no. When she got older, she was like, no, I don't want to go to law school. I'm like, oh well, I don't. She's like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm like, okay, well, tell your father. I don't care. Because he was the one that had his hopes so high. So, so then she became a public political science major. Then she was some other major. Then she said, "Oh, well, my major is sound engineering and music production." And I said, "What? What is that? Who do you know that's doing that?" She's like, "Mom, well, actually, that's Puff. That's what Puff Daddy did." And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Okay." So, but my point is, for me, that was a lesson, and the lesson I had to learn from that was, I don't get to dash her hopes and dreams and aspirations just because I don't know somebody that's done that before.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
You know, and people do that, and sometimes they do it unknowingly, but people do that, and sometimes that's what people are afraid of, you know, afraid, and they're like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody else that dream or that aspiration or what that passion is, because they're going to look at me like I'm crazy.
Correct. Correct. Now, let me just go ahead and fix this. Our owner says I misread that. She does know. She
Oh,
does know. So I misread that. So our owner, your question, me flipping it, just probably helped somebody else who probably didn't want to ask that question. So my bad, girl. I should put on my glasses. That's what I should do. So Cheryl says, I am so glad my brand is beginning to flourish. And I agree. Her brand is kicking butt. She's learning how to do all these graphics. So Cheryl, yes, your brand is doing awesome. So I want to see, Iona has one more thing she wants to say. My point was that I am such a multifaceted, multi-passionate person, and I tend to want to offer everything at times. So this is very helpful.
oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Because here's the thing, and this is why I talk about owning your lane. You want to ride that horse and make it. You want to ride that horse until it wins until it's winning all three races. You
Yeah.
want you want to ride that one horse, because that's going to be your prize horse. That's going to be the thing that's going to win you the prize. So that's what you want to ride, that you want to make that so successful, that when you go to do other things, that thing is so successful, it's gonna be moving, it's gonna be working on its own. I like to use Oprah because she's just a great example of it. How long did she do her talk show?
I don't know, for years. I mean, I know I cried when they did
You
that show.
other people. She did that talk show for 25 years. Every day, well, not every single day, but the rigorous schedule of getting up. I remember watching something one time, and she gave us a glimpse, when social media became really big, and she gave us a glimpse into what it was a day like with her. What time she got up? She was going down to get in her car at like 3:30 in the morning or something like that, so she could get to the studio, so she could get to work, so she could get makeup, so she could get all this stuff done. She did that for 25 years. Now we know her as the queen of talk, right?
Yep.
But what else did she do?
She probably did some other stuff, but that's
She did
all
a
we know.
whole lot of other things. She was an actress.
Yep, she sure
Remember?
was.
She was in
Uh-huh.
Color Purple. She was in Beloved. Um,
Uh,
she was
Brewster's
in
Place. That
Brewster,
was a
you know,
series.
Brewster's Place,
Uh-huh.
right? But she was still known as the Queen of Talk. She had a partnership with Tivana. You know, she had her Oprah chime. Um, she, I mean, you know, she's done a lot of. She's executive producer, funding movies, um, doing, uh, created a production studio with Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. All of that was still happening, but what do, what do we still know her as? She has her own network. She has her own network. She is like the female version of Ted Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we still know her as?
Queen of Talk.
The Queen of Talk. So she's
Yep.
a great example of how you can lead with one thing, but you can still do several other things.
Mhm. And not be scared to let go. I mean, I'm be honest, I know you still on. I was very scared of the same thing of just focusing on one thing. And once I made that transition last year, I'm literally all of my income comes from this one thing that I do, just
Mhm.
one thing. And here's another funny thing. I said I wasn't going to do any more one-on-one coaching. My
Mhm.
one-on-one coaching business part has just blossom. Like I have to turn down people and say no, and I'm not taking one-on-one client because now that I focus and don't talk about the private one-on-one coaching, now that area now has also started to grow. So yeah, when you focus on one thing, I think everything else starts to work together.
It does because you've made it easy for people to say yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Katrina has a question. Okay.
Okay.
I hope I said that right, Miss Jones. I do a lot of cooking, and with my cooking, I like to make my own sauces. Do you have advice on how to go about branding my homemade sauces? I know I said that so country sauces.
Actually, yeah, I might want to talk to her offline. I have some ideas. I actually have some resources and recommendations that I can actually give her and direct her to people that I know that actually do that type of work.
Good. So that now that's my next question. I want to make sure. Then Katrina, you want to reach out to Miss Cheryl. How do we reach out to you? How do we get? How does someone find you, Miss Cheryl?
Well,
Oh, that's the slide you just shared it.
they can actually schedule time to talk with me for an icon factor discovery session. You know, and that session is really for me to learn just about them, where they are, where they're stuck, and you know, if I have something that I can offer them to get them from where they are to where they want to go, or if it's not me, or if it's a resource, or if it's, you know, just figuring out where they are and then helping them create a plan forward. So if you text iconic and the number one to 31996, you should receive a text with a link and you can schedule time to talk with me and we can go from there.
Awesome. Look how fancy she is, y'all. Y'all can text her. So, Cheryl, can you type that into the comment section so people can know to do that? To text iconic one to 31996 so that they can schedule a complimentary icon I'm sorry, discovery session.
Yes. Yep.
So Katrina, make sure you do that
Yes.
because
I
I'm
definitely have. Is Katrina, is she the one with the sauces?
yes, ma'am. Hmm.
Yes. I definitely have someone that I can recommend that she talk to, but we can still just talk about her overall personal brand. But the sauce piece,
Yeah,
definitely
that's
have someone.
that's great. She said, "Great, thank you." She's gonna do that. Will do. Thanks again.
Awesome.
And okay, so I'm gonna leave with our owner's last comment here. She's giving us some praise. She said, "This is why I'm always will be a part of your tribe. Thank you for being the example, focusing, and leading with one thing. I am learning, girl." I'm like, yay,
Awesome. Awesome.
awesome.
Awesome.
So, Miss Cheryl, I want to say thank you so much for doing
You're
the Coach to Coach
welcome.
show.
You're
Um,
welcome.
my superstars, my coachpreneurs are really, really, I know appreciate this. And this is a training that I would definitely reference to, refer people to, put it in a watch party, definitely send it out to my email list so that they can watch, so that you can get more people to help you with that person. I mean, so that you can help other people with their personal brand. That's
Awesome.
really important. Um, Personal branding was how I made the transition from being a full-time professor to actually becoming a full-time entrepreneur, because I built my brand before I left the
Mm-hmm.
university. And
Awesome.
so when I left, I wasn't known as a professor at this school. I was known as if you want to get your brand together, you want to get your stuff together online, go see Alease. That's what they knew me for when I left. So
Mm-hmm.
personal branding is very, very important.
Yes, yes. Which is how I actually started doing it, because it's what I used to build and grow my coaching business.
Hmm.
And it did so well that I said, this is something I can get behind. This is something that I can talk about with authenticity and integrity, because I actually walked through it and I loved it, and the results that it got me and the results that it gets my clients. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
the real deal.
It is the real, real deal. And it makes a tremendous difference in your pocket.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Awesome. So thank you so much again, Miss Cheryl. And again, guys, if you have any questions for Miss Cheryl, make sure you follow her on her Facebook page, on Instagram. Instagram is her jam. I saw that on her website. So
Yes, it
definitely reach out onto her either on Instagram or Facebook so you guys can connect. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment section so I can either tag Miss Cheryl to make sure she answers the question. And if you need additional help, please reach out to her and schedule your free strategy session with her. All right.
is.
So
Absolutely.
again, I want to say thank you so much again. And you guys have an awesome and blessed day. And I'll be talking to you the same time, same day, same time on the Coast to Coast Show. Peace out, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.